Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. Looks like I still have to name this. This was the radius. And got some typos in here. Okay, let's see, we can turn off this fretboard. Turn off this neck too for now. So to get in this editing mode, you can right click and edit sketch. You can double click here, or you can double click in the sketch down here. Okay, so you open up the master canvas, you'll see the actual fretboard ends here. So I'm going to draw a line about right here. I'm going to dimension that line from the nut to here. Hit enter. I'm going to type in 0.525. Hit enter. And escape out of that. Go to modify and extend. And I've pinned it up here already. I want to extend this line. Hover. You hover until you see the red extension appear over here. And click. Then I'm going to go to this trim tool. Get rid of these edges. Make sure we're still constrained here. Then back to this modify and break. I'm going to hover here until I see the red X. I'm going to break that right there and down here and break that there. We're still fully constrained. Finish the sketch. Turn off this master. Now I'm going to edit the next sketch. Turn on the master sketch. Hit the P and project those three lines onto the next sketch. And let's see, click OK on that. And we can finish that sketch for now. Now we need to do the same thing to the neck here. Turn this neck back on. Go to the home view. Now what we're going to do here, if you go back and look on this plan here, is it has a volute on here, and this neck goes straight till just at the first fret, and then it has a slight dip in it, and then the curve. I'm not going to put this slight dip in there. I'm just going to put a curve here and a curve here for the volute. So we've already extended this out in the neck in the master drawing, and this curve starts about here. I'm going to call that about 0.7 back. So to get started, I'm going to use this offset face tool, which I've pinned. Yours is probably still down here. Offset face. I'm going to click on this face, and I'm going to extend that the 0.525 value. Hit enter and create an offset plane on that face with a value of 0. Hit enter, and then I'm going to name that the head transition point. And I'm going to right click and create a sketch on that. And I'm going to use the P key and project just these points right here. And click OK. Hide my neck. Go to a straight on view from the right. Put a line between the points. And then a line up on this side, 0.25 inches. Another line up on this side, 0.25. Finish that sketch. I'm going to name this one the head transition point. Turn that sketch off. Turn our neck back on. Offset the face again. I'm going to go in a negative direction, negative 0.525, enter, and then offset the face again, negative 0.7. Offset plane on this face, value 0, enter, and I'm going to call this the neck transition point. Right click and create a sketch here. P, project this line and this radius. Click OK. Hide my neck. Straight on view from the right. Add lines. I'm going to do a center line. I'm going to change that to construction line. Change this to construction line. Change this to a construction line. And I'm going to add those two top lines. 0.25. 0.25. Finish that sketch. Neck transition point. Now if you bring those two sketches back up and go to the home perspective view, go into the surface menu up here. That's something new. And I want to do a loft. Yours may still be down here. And I'm going to loft from here to here. Click OK. And I'm going to call this surface body rail upper. Turn my sketches back on and loft again from here to here. Click OK, and this will be the rail lower. Okay, we can hide those for now. We won't need those until later. Hide all that. Let's turn our neck sketch back on. Create a plane at angle. So his headstock is at 6.6 degrees. And then plane at angle from this point, this line out here. And this will be a negative value, I think. Start tilting it to find out. So I'm going to do mine a negative 7.7 degrees. And I'm going to call this the head. And I'm going to create a sketch on the head. No, I'm not. Getting ahead of myself. Undo that. I'm going to go back to the PDF and go to the upper left hand corner. And we need to take a snip of this and also make note from the edge of this headstock to the center of the tuner holes is 13.65 millimeters. Get out my snipping tool and grab this headstock here. And I'm going to save that in my MK1 folder as the head. And we're going to insert that canvas. Onto this. Go ahead and pre-size it a little bit. We will have to flip it here. Move this to 90 and vertical flip. Go ahead and get the size started a little bit. I'm going to pull this up to about 5. Say OK. Hide this canvas. And now create a sketch on this canvas. And hide this head canvas for the moment. And we're going to project these 4 points. I'm not using the lines because after you project a line, you're limited to what you can do with the line. And click OK on that and hide the neck. And then draw lines. Hit enter on that. And finish the sketch for the moment. And then show my head canvas and line that thing up. Let's go ahead and scale it first. Right click and calibrate and get way in here. The tighter you can roll in, the closer the scale will actually be. And I'm going to go from the center of this tuner peg hole to the edge of the head, and that is 13.65 millimeter. Okay, and now we're going to place this. Right click, edit. Go ahead and move it down till we line it up pretty close on those lines on the neck, and then turn back on the master canvas and line it up pretty close on the master canvas here. That's pretty good. Turn off the master canvas, and now I'm going to kind of center it left to right here. That's pretty good right there. Click OK on that. Now I'm going to call this sketch the head. Edit that sketch. And go ahead and fill in this line up here too. Yeah. Escape out of that. I'm going to make this a construction line. Now I want to create a center line. From the center of this line all the way out of the sketch here. 8.9. I'm just going to call this 9 inches. Enter. Make that a construction line. Then go to create rectangle, center rectangle, and from the center of the construction line, and we're going to create 9 by 4.5. Okay, so far we're still fully constrained. Now turn all of this rectangle lines into construction lines. And we're going to use this rectangle to anchor everything down, to constrain everything. Okay, let's go ahead and get started up here. Now to draw this exactly as he has it here, you'd have to use splines. And you can do that if you want to. I think the control point is going to give you a more roundy look over the fitted point. However, the control point, you do have to put in more spline points, which may create more problem for the CNC machine when you actually start milling it. Definitely want to get one on the center line. that, and then you just move all these points around until you get the shape you want. And this does make a nice drawing, and it's real smooth. Like I say, I have run into a little bit of issues with my CNC. Doesn't really like splines too much. Doesn't destroy the design, but the machine stutters and stops and has little fits sometimes. I don't know why. The nature of spline, I guess. And you could do that, but then you'd have to constrain every single point in this spline to get fully constrained, and that's just a lot of humbug. So if you were to use the spline and you want to constrain these, you'd have to use your dimension tool by hitting the D key and then grab a point to this line, click and enter, and then the point to this line, click and enter. Now this line's still orange, so we get this point to here, click and enter, point to here, click and enter. Now you can see that one line is constrained black now. So you'd have to go through all of these and do that, or you could cheat a little bit and just drag select all of that, whoops, and click on this fix unfix. Now we're fully constrained and it's all locked down for your plan. That's not optimum, but it is sometimes necessary, especially if you're using splines. Sometimes you just can't find the issue, and this will nail it down real quick and easy, and keep your drawing parametric. However, I'm not going to use splines. I prefer to use arcs. So I'm going to get out of there, undo all of that, and I'm going to start up here by drawing a create circle, 2-point circle, and I'm going to clip it to this center line, make sure it snaps to the center line, and get right on the edge of this volute up here and just drag it down until it covers the volute. And so you can see right off that it's not symmetrical. That's probably by design. I want mine to be somewhat symmetrical. I'm over on the right and under on the left. I'm going to kind of split that about half the distance here. Whoops, stay on center. I'm going to decrease the diameter until that's on center. I'm going to go ahead and give this thing a diameter now so I don't have to do it later. I'm just going to call that 1.4. Yeah, close enough, and hit enter twice. Okay, so to lock this thing down, I think we can just go up here to coincidence, click on this point, and then click on this line, and then dimension, click on this point, click on this line, click enter, and now it's locked down. So next I want to create these wings over here. I'm just going to use arcs for this. 3-point arc from this point. Let's see here. It's probably going to fall in about right there. You want to make sure it's tangent here. Actually, it's out of tangent like that, but I like that better, so we'll make the tangent secondary. Hit that, escape out of there, and then click this line and make it tangent to this circle, and then drag this out to here. Yeah, that's close enough for me. This line's going to be a little bit flat on this side too, I would imagine. So we'll do that one now. Oh, let's keep up with the constraints here. So escape, D key for dimension from here to here. Click enter, and from here to here, click enter. Still not happy. Give it a radius. So dimension from here out this way, enter, enter. Okay, now it's happy. Same thing on the other side, 3-point arc. From here, probably up to about here. And this one I'm going to leave it tangent. Looks good. Click on that. Escape, escape. D key here to here. Click enter. And then dimension this radius. Okay, good, good. Okay, now let's click on modify, extend these lines back to 3-point arc. And I'm going to come in from here, make sure you're on the line, to here. Something like that. So it's tangent to the straight line. And I'm going to make it tangent to this arc too. And then I'm going to snip, trim this line, and we need to break this arc right here. Break right there. So we have distinctly this line, and this line. We need this split right here between the two sketches. Basically from the bottom of the head to the top of the head needs to have two distinct paths. So let's do that again over here. Computer's bogging down. And then break it. Okay, good. Not constrained because these arcs are broken now. Need to mention these arcs separately. Okay. Now let's add the straight line from here. Looks like to about here. Actually, the arc here. We'll do them together. We'll shape it in together. Straight line back to about here, and then do another 3-point arc from here down to this point. Make sure it's tangent to the straight line. Click there. And now to shape it, Let's lock this angle down on this line before we start moving it. Dimension tool, this line to the center line. Enter, enter. Okay. So now it's locked down on the angle. Escape out of all that and grab this. Start dragging this in a little bit to make this a little closer. And I can live with that. Now we can go ahead and dimension this radius. And we need to lock one of these points down. Lock this one down. And create one more 3-point arc from here to here. Don't like all that snappy business. I'm not sure why. Take it into about right here, I think. Yeah. It's about splitting the difference.